Okay, Gene, let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be going over NinjaTrader, and we're going to be showing how to open and close NinjaTrader. There's two steps to open it and two steps to close it, and those two steps are the same, but they're reversed when you close it. And the concept is that a um, we never want a uh, we never want a chart open without a data feed connected. So we always connect the data feed first. That's step one when we open it up. And we connect the workspace second. Now, we don't operate on charts. We don't open, close, and save a chart. We open and close and save a workspace. A workspace is a collection of charts, and we've already loaded uh, pre pre put together workspaces, and we have set them up so that we have a workspace for crude light, a workspace for gold, a workspace for the E-mini S&P stock index. So we set up our workspaces by market, and we typically have three charts right now, and that could change per market. So we have a 14-2 Renko bar chart, we have a 8-2 Renko bar chart, and a 5-1 Renko bar chart in a workspace. And we'll have a workspace for crude, gold, E-mini S&P, NASDAQ, whatever market we're working on. Now, the idea is that we want to connect a data feed first so that we don't open up a workspace first without a data feed connected, because the charts in the workspace for a market are real time and they're looking for data. If the data is not there, they tend to corrupt the data in the chart, and they can or cannot. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But the concept is that you want to always connect your data feed first before you open up a workspace. And then when you close it, you close the workspace first, and then disconnect the data feed last. So you don't disconnect the data feed first when you close it, you disconnect it last, so that you don't, you close the workspaces first, disconnect the data feed last, and then exit. So that's the concept. And there is an icon here on your desktop called NinjaTrader 7 64-bit. And we're going to click this once, or left click it twice to open it up and run the file. And it's going to, the app, and it's going to open up into what's called the control center. And this is our interface. And the interface is called the control center, and is what I call an empty control center. There's no data feeds. If we had a data feed open, you'd see it at the bottom, and it would show green connected. And you don't have any workspaces open except a placeholder workspace called the Untitled. We're actually looking at it right now. There's no charts in this workspace. We use it as a placeholder. You can't close the last workspace, so we just make up an empty workspace and use it and never close it. It just stays there. So the first step would be to connect the data feed. So I'm going to go to File, Connect, and I'm going to go to NinjaTrader Continuum Demo. This may say CQG, it may say other things, but for you, this is your futures data feed. I'm going to click it. It's going to go out to the internet and start to connect to the NinjaTrader Continuum data feed. It is a CQG. It's coming from a company called CQG, but that's what we call it. And when it turns green, it gets dark at the top, and you hear that noise, zing, you know that the data feed is connected. Now, you notice we're after hours. The market is not open right now, or it's not active. It is open, but there's not very much trading going on after the close of the market. So we're not getting a lot of ticks right now, and they're very slow, but this data up here is real time. So we've now connected the data feed for all U.S. futures and some overseas futures, and it's from CQG. It's connected. You see it down here at the bottom, and we're ready to go with our data. The second step is to open up a workspace. Now, we do have a workspace open called Untitled, but we can open up multiple workspaces, but you can only see one at a time. In other words, I can't open up two workspaces simultaneously. I can only see one workspace at a time in NinjaTrader 7. So I have an Untitled, which is empty as a placeholder. I'm going to open up a second workspace. I'm going to click, and let me do that again. I'm going to go in here and go to File, Workspace, Open Workspace, and then I'm going to select the Crude Oil Simple Fibonacci Workspace. That's just the one I'm opening up. I can open up one at a time. and they will stay open. And in this case, there are 3 charts in this workspace. Again, a 14-2 Renko bar, an 8-2 Renko bar in the middle, and over to the right is a 5-1 Renko bar. All right. We'll wait for these to open up. Now, you have a fast computer, so this is going to happen pretty quick. If you have a slower computer, this could take several minutes, anywhere from 5 minutes to 8 minutes. I've seen them wait, take as long as 10 minutes. If something doesn't open up within 10 minutes, either the internet is a problem, or the computer is a problem, or something is causing it to slow down, and it should be something that we need to look at. But your charts are opening up here pretty quickly. If you go down here to your what's called the taskbar down at the bottom of the screen, you can see if I hover over, I'm just putting my mouse over the icon in the taskbar, you can see all the windows in this application. We have the control center, we have 1, 2, 3 charts. We'll wait for these to open up. Okay, Gene, we've got 3 charts open now on the screen, and you'll notice we have a 14-2 Renko bar chart on the left, an 8-2 Renko bar in the middle, and a 5-1 Renko bar on the right. And I'm going to show you how to scale the charts and use the drawing tools and a couple of little items on the charts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to blow up this 5-1 chart over here on the right to show you how to scale the charts, and you can do this on all the charts. I'm going to put my cursor on the price scale over here on the right. Now, this is a crude light contract. It's an October contract in 2019, which is the date that we're recording this. We're trading an October contract. You usually trade out a month to a month and a half, and we're trading an October contract. And over here on the right is the price scale, and this is a 1,000-barrel contract traded on the New York Mercantile Exchange. You don't need to remember this or know this, but it's traded on the New York Mercantile Exchange, and the contract is priced in dollars and cents per barrel. So we're looking for October delivery. It's a crude light October contract for physical delivery is in the 3rd week of the month, typically around the 3rd week of October for this contract. But we're not going to be in this contract anywhere close to delivery. We're going to be rolling in fact, there's a new contract every month in crude. Other markets, it could be every 3 months. But the concept...
So, Jim?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Futures contracts expire the 3rd Friday of the month, just like options contracts on the stock market.
If that's what options do, that's correct. Okay. So what we're doing is we're trading a contract that's far enough out that we're just trading for price speculation, and when we get into close to the October and probably near the end of September, we'll roll into November. So we're never going to be in a contract that's nearing settlement or delivery. So we're just basically buying and selling on price speculation at this point. It's priced in U.S. dollars, in dollars and cents. The minimum fluctuation is 1 cent for crude, and every cent by contract specification is equal to $10 up and down. So if we were to look here on the chart, you can see 54.04. If we were to buy this market at 54.04 and sell it at 54.08, we would make 4 cents or $40 minus commission and fees. The commission and fees are typically around anywhere from $2 to $2.50. So that's all in with the commission for the broker, the NFA, and exchange fees. So think of it like $2.50 to $3 of round turn commission and fees that you take off of your gain. So if I made $40 on the trade, I'd subtract $3, and my net cash on gain on that trade would be $37. All right. Now, what I want to do is show you how to scale the chart. So I'm going to put my cursor in the price scale. I'm not going to put it over here on inside of the chart, but in the price scale, and I'm going to hold my left button down and drag up and down on my mouse, my left button on my mouse, and I can change the vertical resolution by moving the mouse up and down. If I do the same thing and hold the control button down on my keyboard first and then drag up and down on the price scale, it moves the whole chart up and down. That's a vertical positioning. Okay?
Okay.
You can see that I'm doing that here. And then if I scroll back on the chart, you see it can go off the chart. The price bars can go off the chart. There is an auto range feature. If I click this little F and the square up, it's hard to see up the top. It'll put the chart back in the middle of the screen. Okay. Now I can click in this little blank area left of the scroll bar, and that would move the chart half a page at a time, or I can move it to the right, or I can just grab the little scroll bar and move it to the right. Now, if I want to change my horizontal resolution and positioning, I put my cursor in the time scale at the bottom, hold my left button down and drag left. That changes the horizontal resolution, more bars or less bars. If I drag right, it puts more bars in the screen, like this. Okay, and if I want to move the whole chart, my horizontal positioning, I put my cursor in the back of the chart, anywhere in the background of the chart, hold my left button down and just drag left or right. And that way it gives me all four types of scaling, you know, positioning and resolution, vertically and horizontally. That also applies to the subgraph down at the bottom of the chart. I can grab this little edge right here and hold my left button and drag it up. This is the oscillator we call our fib to fib oscillator, and I have the same controls in this that I do in the chart. I can, you know, drag up and down in my price scale. I can hold my control button down and move the whole oscillator up and down. I can auto range it with the F. I can do any of that. So that's how you scale the chart. So if your chart is spread out and it looks like this when you get it into your chart window and you want to change it, the best thing to do is just to you can either move it in like this with my horizontal resolution, or I can also do this and make it so I can see it. Okay.
And that's control. You hold the control button down and left click, and that'll move the whole chart, you say?
Yes. Right? If I hold my control button down and drag up and down on the price scale, it moves the whole chart up and down. If
Gotcha.
I don't hold the control button down and just drag up and down, it moves the vertical resolution up and down. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now I'm going to move these other charts just to. I'm going to go in here and just move this down a little bit. I'm going to just move these charts so the oscillators are all the same. You can see that this needs a little adjustment here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And we can move this up so it can see it. And these charts all look pretty good. Now you notice on the chart, if I scroll back on the chart, it'll go off the screen, which is fine. I can click the F to auto range it. Of course, if I move my any scaling over to the right, it puts it back into manual mode. So I can click the little F and auto range it. As long as it's the F is disappeared, it means I'm in auto range mode, and it'll stay in auto range mode unless I manually put it in manual by changing one of the scales or moving it.
Okay.
Now I'm going to save this because I've made some changes to the chart. I want to save it. The only way you can get those to be permanent is to save the workspace. Notice that I can't open, close, and save a chart. I can open, close, and save the whole workspace. So if I want to close a chart, the only way to do it is to hover over the icon at the bottom in my taskbar, go to my control center, click it, and it'll come up to the front, and then go into File, Workspace, and Save Workspace, or Open Workspace. I can't close a chart, open, or save it. I don't want to. I want to close, open, and save a whole workspace. If there's some, these are just windows, just like normal Windows type windows. If I can minimize this chart, I can maximize it and restore it. If I click that red X at the top right hand corner of the screen, it will actually delete the chart out of the workspace. It'll be permanent if I save the workspace. So don't click the red X. You can minimize it, maximize it, and restore it, but don't click the red X. That'll delete the chart out of the workspace. All right?
Okay.
Now, the next thing I want to show you, I'm going to go through this pretty quick. It's pretty simple. There's a toolbar up here. There's a cursor. I can click that and go to a crosshair and all that. These are standard drawing tools. And then there's a drawing toolbar over here. And we basically use the line, the ellipse, and the rectangle, the text, and a couple of other things. But for instance, on a line, I can either click the line here, or I can click F2 on my keyboard. So I can click line. My cursor becomes a pen. I can hold my left button down and drag to the right or left, and I have a line. If I want to change the properties of that line, I can click the line, get the handles, which are used for resizing the line, you know, this kind of thing, or moving it with the 4 crosshair. I can move it up and down. If I right click, I can get remove the line, or I can click the properties and change the properties of the line. And let's make this a line with a width of 5, and let's set it attached to so it goes to all charts, so it'll appear on all 3 charts. I'm going to set as default, click OK, and now I have a line that I can see a lot better, easier. And we use this a lot to show, you know, things on the chart. I can hit delete on the keyboard once it's selected with handles. I can delete it, and we'll use it for different things on the chart to show things on the chart if I need a line. The ellipse is same type of thing. I just hold my left button down and drag down or up, and it creates an ellipse. I can select the edge to get the handles. I can right click it and change the properties. And let's make this a little less opaque. Excuse me. All charts, set as default, OK. And again, I can move it around. We usually use ellipses for entries and rectangles for exits. So I'll come down here to the rectangle. I can hit Control F12, or I can click rectangle. I can make a rectangle. That's hard to see, so let's make it a little yellow. And let's go and change this to yellow. And then let's make it on all charts and set as default. Click OK. Now I have a you know, a rectangle. So if I say I'm just as an example, say I wanted to buy here and sell here, at this point I would hit Control F12. I'd come in here and I'd have a little box up here. So this is my entry, this is my exit, and it's just a way of showing people your entry and exits. Okay, so that's all I want to show you on that. Then I want to come over here and show you what's called a chart trader. The chart trader is how you buy and sell a contract. And you click this little drop down arrow, and it opens up and expands into a little chart trader. It's a little order entry interface. So I can buy the market, I can sell at market, which is a market, you know, order to be filled at the best available price. Now these are for entry only up here. So I can buy market if I think the market's going up. I want to buy it at market. And if I think the market's going down, I'd want to enter the market by selling it first. And then I click close to exit. I don't use these other 5 buttons here. But let's suppose the market's going up and I want to click it. I don't have a lot of clicks a lot of ticks going on right now, but if I say I want to say sell the market on entry, I'd click it right here. It would give me a little bit of slippage, and it would sell. It would say sell one at 53.95. And if I wanted to close this trade out sometime later, I would click close, and it would buy it back. So now I sold it at 53.95. I bought it back at 53.96, and it cost me $10 plus commissions on that trade. I'm not showing you an actual trade. I'm just kind of showing you how it works, but That's how that works. Now, I am going to do something here. I'm going to come down here to this. The rest of this is the account. It's a simulation account. We're trading one quantity, and this is called an ATM, or Automated Trading Management Strategy. I'm going to click the box, and I'm going to click Custom. I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to click the little three dots. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put in a 10-tick stop when I go in and out of the market, and a 20-tick target. And then I'm going to right click over here and click Manage ATM Strategy. Just give it a name. And I'm going to click Save and then OK. And what this is going to do is, let's suppose I think the market's going down. I click Sell. What it's going to do, it's going to go short for it's at market, which is the best available price. And for the simulator, it puts in a 10-tick slippage. I mean a $10 slippage, excuse me. And it puts in a buy stop above the market, 10 ticks above the entry. The entry was at 53.94, so I should have a 54.04 stop, which is 10 ticks above for a buy stop, and a buy limit below the market at 53.74, which is 20 ticks below the market. So if the market goes down and I hit my area right down here at my target, it would get me out of the market with obviously with a profit. If it hits my stop up here, obviously I would lose 10 ticks. Right? Now I can move these stops and targets dynamically as the trade is moving. I can move my stop up here. All I do is just click it. I'm not dragging it. I'm just clicking it, moving it, clicking again. I can move my targets as well. And the idea here is that you have complete control over your stops and targets, and they were automatically set up when you went into the trade because of this this ATM strategy. And again, it starts with a 10-tick stop, 20-tick target, and you can move those stops and targets. Now, I can click close anytime as well, or I can move my stop and target into the market and let it get hit. But I would click close. And now I've noticed that it offsets. It would buy that sell order back. So I'd sell it and then buy it back. And then it would also delete the stop and the target for me automatically. I don't have to do that manually. And I can put in limit orders by right-click. Say I want to put a limit order in here above the market, which would say I right-click, and I can put in a buy stop above the market at this level, or a sell limit above the market. So you have buy stops and sell limits above the market. You have sell stops and buy limits below the market. And if I was to put one in, let's suppose I put in a buy limit down here. I wanted to buy it down here, and I can move it around. And if I want to cancel it, I just click the little X over to the right, and we're done. Okay. Notice also that the trade text on the screen shows me the entry and the exits. Blue arrows, I know it's hard to see, but there's a blue arrow for the entry for longs, and a magenta arrow for shorts. I'm sorry, that's a cyan. No, that's cyan. That's cyan. Magenta would be more of a blue. This blue over here. All right. So notice that also this text will show up on all charts. I don't like to see that text typically in my 14.2. I like it in my 8.2, and you'll see later when you go through the rules. The 14.2 it's really not that necessary to see that, so I'm going to right-click in this 14.2 chart and go down to Data Series, and I'm going to scroll down my scroll bar and come down here to Plot Executions and turn this off. I'm going to say Do Not Plot. Click OK, and now that text is gone on this chart. If I want to add it, I'll just right-click, go to Data Series, scroll down, and change this. Click inside here and click the drop down and change it to text and marker. All right.
Okay.
So now you have that, and you know how to use the chart trader. Again, buy market, sell market are for entry only. If you think the market's going up, you want to buy it at market. If you think the market's going down, you want to sell it at market, and you exit by clicking close. The close is intelligent. If you buy market, it sells when you click close. If you sell market on entry, it buys it on close. Okay?
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
you need to set this ATM strategy, check it, make sure it's in this box if you want to use the ATM strategy for your stop and your target. Most people do that. Now,
Sure.
the other thing I want to show you is how to take a picture. Suppose we wanted to show this trade in the room. How would we do that? Well, first of all, we'd go into the room, and I think you know how to go into the room. I'm just going to, you know what? I'm going to play, instead of, here, let's do it this way. Let's go, you're going to be able to get into the room by going to the website, nextgent3.com, clicking on Education page, and going down here to the green button, Webinar on Air, and you're going to put in your name. I'm going to sign in. I'm just going to put in my personal, just Jim, and I'll make up one here. And then the password right now for this month is Great Trades. You hit enter, and it's going to go into the interface. This is a cloud-based classroom that you can get into, and here it is right here that's empty because the room has been over since this morning, and it's going to be blank over here on the left, but you'll see John's charts in the room. John Novak, our owner and developer. You'll see his charts and hear his voice over here on the left. In the right, you'll see a list of attendees. We usually have 50 to 100 people in the room every day. And then down here is a chat box. You can't talk to John by voice, but you can type in a message or a response to his message or his whatever he's asking, and hit enter, and you'll see a message come up in the chat room, and it'll be identified to everybody that's in the room. But let's suppose we want to post a chart into the room. How do we do that? Let's go back and come here. Well, we've already installed Jing, and you were asking about that the other day. This is how we take a picture of this chart and post it in the room. All three charts for John to review it in the room. We're going to go up here to the Jing little bubble, and we're going to click the left circle and click capture, and it's going to give us a crosshair. We're going to go in and hold my left button down, and I'm going to drag it to the area that I want to save or take a picture of. And then down here is a ribbon toolbar. I'm going to click the left icon, which is capture image, and then it's going to have a picture of that I've saved, taken a picture of, and it's a JPEG file, and it's going to appear right here. And what I want to do is, now I could put this on my hard drive right here by saving it and giving it a file name, but what I prefer you do is click this little button. It's a share via screencast. I'm going to click this leftmost icon, and what it's going to do, it's going to take that image and it's going to put it up on the web under a program called Screencast, which this is all free. It doesn't cost anything. But that Screencast now has that image up on the internet, and it automatically, you don't have to do anything, automatically it puts a link to that image up at Screencast in your clipboard, your temporary memory. So if I wanted to go to the classroom back here, and I wanted to post the link to this image that I just took of the three charts, I could put my cursor in where I type in the text, and since I already have the link in my clipboard, like I copied it, I just hit Control V for paste, Control V, and it puts a link into the room under the text area where I type in messages. I hit enter, and now I have a screencast.com link of that image that I took a few minutes ago. If I click on it, anybody in the room can click on the link and now see the chart that I just took a picture of. And if I want to make this bigger, full screen, I click the chart anywhere and it goes to full screen. I can click it again and make it even bigger. And then if I want to exit out of it, I just click the exit out of the tabs, and the link is still here. It's in the room.
Jim, how do I choose that link if I were to save that picture the night before? Before the class.
You could do the same thing, and you could go in here to more, and you could come in here to, where is it? There's a way to go in here and see it. Let me figure this out. Hold on a second. I forget how to do this because I don't do it very often. I think it's this one right here. History. Yeah.
Okay.
It's right here. And you can right-click it, I think, and get a link. Share.
Okay.
And it's now, I just click that, and it's now in your clipboard. And it's there now. So I can just paste it into the classroom, even though I took it yesterday or day before, whenever. It's right there. I just right-click the image and click Share.
Share.
And it automatically puts it uploads it again to Screencast and puts the link in the clipboard. All right.
And then just Control V
to paste it.
To paste it. Okay.
All right. Now, it's really all I wanted to show you today, other than go over the videos again and show you what videos I want you to look at. I'm just going to do that. I know you know what videos to look at, but I sent you an email with a list of the order of the videos I want you to look at, but just for recording and the people that, oh, we haven't closed this. Let's close this. Remember, we wanted to open it and then we wanted to close it. But the order that we open it is not the same as we close it. It's reverse. So remember when we opened this up, we went to Control Center, and the first thing we did to open it was go to File, Connect. We connected the data feed first, and then we went to File, Workspace, and we opened up a workspace, and we selected the workspace and clicked OK and waited for it to open. When we do that, notice that I have two workspaces open, an Untitled, and I have the Crude Light workspace open. Both of them are open. I can have multiple workspaces open, but I can only see one on the screen at a time. So if I want to skip back and forth between them, I just click the Untitled, and now I'm looking at the Untitled workspace. It's empty. There's no charts in it, and you can see the check mark next to the Untitled. That means I'm looking at that workspace. If I want to go back to this other workspace, it's still open. I haven't closed it, so I would just click it, and it would open right back up. Now, to close this, we want to do a little bit different. Instead of closing, and what I want to do is I want to close the workspaces first, except for the Untitled, which I leave there. That's just a placeholder. So I want to make sure I'm looking at the workspace. If I had two other workspaces open, I would close each one individually, one at a time. But since I have this crude oil and I want to shut the program down, I'm going to look at the crude oil. I'm going to click Close Workspace. And it says, do you want to save on close? I usually say yes. And then I'm going to check just to make sure that I have all that I have left is the Untitled workspace. I'm going to leave it there. All right. And
so, Jim,
yes.
When you close a workspace and then go back to it to reopen it, is it going to open up with a new data feed, or is it going to open up the old data? Okay.
No, the data feed. It's going to have a data feed. Watch what I do here. When I close it, remember I close the workspace first. Still have my data feed connected. This is a live feed, right? It's gonna. What I want to do next is to disconnect my data feed last. So here's the summary. When you open it, you connect the data feed first, open the workspace second. So you never have a chart open without a data feed. When you close it, you close the workspaces first and disconnect the data feed last, so that you never have a workspace open without a data feed. So in reality, what you do is connect the data feed first, disconnect the data feed last, and in between you open and close the workspaces, so you never have a chart open without a data feed. So I've closed my workspaces. I have all of my workspace closed except the Untitled, which I want to leave there. And so I just disconnect the data feed last, right here.
But when you reopen the workspace, it will save the format that you changed it to?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I said yes, save on close. So when I open this back up, I'll connect my data feed first, and then I'll come in and open my workspace second, select the workspace I want to open and click OK. And then when I close it, I close my workspaces first, not the Untitled, but all the other ones. And then I disconnect my data feed last. Okay. And then I exit. And it says on exit, do you want to save the Untitled workspace? Well, the Untitled workspace doesn't have any charts in it, so it doesn't really matter if I save it or not. I usually click no. So now you know about how to open and close NinjaTrader. You know how to use and open up the workspaces, connect the data feed, open up the workspace. You know how to scale the charts. You know how to use the crosshair and the pointer. You know how to use the drawing tools. You know how to use the chart trader, and you know how to take pictures of your charts and post them into the room for the classroom. And that's what we're going to finish up with today. Do you have any quick questions before I finish up today?
No, I'll go practice.
Okay, good. Hold on a second. And thank you, Gene. Stay right there, and I'll be right with you. Hold on.